Welcome everyone. I got some new stuff to talk about, so here we go. It's about Arizona. I Let's scroll out. Arizona. Arizona. So here's the ammonite. We've been talking about this ammonite structure here and how it generally put material down this way with a boundary here. Possibly with a boundary here also. Based on some things that I've been finding out about. But so I went on YouTube. I typed Arizona geology, and my last video I think was about. So recently I talked about the cracks forming, but I should watch this one. I watched this one. I should probably watch this one. I will watch this one, and we'll see what happens. I'll probably make another video based on things that are brought up. Okay, this was really interesting. Was they were finding grains that they were dating of possibly zircons. I'm not completely sure. I think zircons. But the interesting thing was he says 250, 249 plus or minus 2, so around the Permian extinction for the Buckskin Formation, which is one of the formations in this video is talking about Arizona around here, I believe. Around this region. Something like here. Maybe higher, maybe lower. I can't quite. I think this was part of it. This was part of it. So it's something like here. So in this region, though, there's grains that date to 100 million years ago. So 1 billion-year-old grains, according to radiometric dating, but regardless, it shows what he says. It shows these grains. These grains have been concluded to be sourced from the Appalachians. I mean, how did that happen? Let's take this. Let's get rid of this now. Here's the Appalachians. Grains from over here got over here to a point where that's what they're finding. And he's saying like a lot, it seems like a good amount of the material there can be traced to being sourced from the Appalachian region. I just had this thought because essentially they didn't exist until around, I think, 350. I can't remember. When did the Appalachians? There's there's separate events within, I think, 3 separate events. This is when the uplift occurred, I believe, but the region itself pre-uplift already existed 100 million years and more. So Not sure where the billion years aspect is coming from. Let's see what this is talking about. What did it say? Billion, 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 billion. We even acknowledge it. It's just we don't acknowledge the Earth expanded. So there was an ocean that's just kind of surrounded by a single ocean. Just assumed. This is assumed. 100% assumed, because it's not true. It's actually assumed. Sure, it's interpreted, but it's not true, so it's assumed. Okay, anyway, besides the point. So we got around the Permian time frame this source of material, and then 225, 220, some kind of volcanic event. So there's volcanism in the region. Something happening around 180. I'm trying to think if there was something specific. At this, mostly it was just the sand from the Appalachian. So we got Appalachian material all the way in Arizona. Why would that happen though? And specifically here. So like this is, imagine we need to pull up my Twitter post. This one. Imagine this is happening, and there's a region here that's swirling and sending a cross current this way that continues across and goes this way, but also goes down here and goes down here, but in essence goes across here and interacts with this current that's coming out of this system across here, that then runs into the resistance of stuff generally coming out this way through the mouths, through this direction generally, that just applies a pressure to bend this away from it, and it goes down this way, but then it runs into another pressure from over here that then essentially keeps it from going down, just straight down. So it bends again. And I just stopped drawing it here because I was mainly focused on, honestly, just that it represents the energy flow that swastikas represent, and talking about the dots within and all sorts of aspects, but not really realizing this actually probably continues through here. So what we're seeing is a feed of water. This is water. This is also water. Hot water, cold water that are interacting. And the water over here is taking material from the Appalachians and just bringing it into the vortex, and then transporting it all the way through here. All this material is being transported through here, down this way. So there's probably Appalachian material here, I would hypothesize, and here maybe. Maybe just generally down here as well, but that's probably more reasonable. Proximity-wise, Arizona is just like, what? But like, I've already drawn how it got there. So like this pressure though is going up this way, so it crosses over, gets through a through point into this region. And I've realized like stuff's going up this way and filling this region between, just coming in and filling it. And maybe what's part of that flow is this current comes down, goes over, goes into this region and just drains material into here that then becomes part of the current here. But then there's like a bottleneck here. That's what I'm thinking. There's a bottleneck because of the pressure of this system pushing a boundary out around it, generally about where the mountainous regions are, is this boundary. So it can't really, this flow isn't going to go like up this way because there's pressure that way. So it goes more so through. It looks like we can even follow it, like it goes through to here, and that's probably a center where it really entered a cross current that was going up this way and swirled, or maybe this current coming down this way and swirled. But I feel like this, maybe I'm misinterpreting this. The current, maybe the current was coming up this way and swirling here, but I really think it was swirling this way because it went this way. Unless it's literally transporting water in this way, like up this way and this way, like I don't know, swirling it in and then sending it out this way, but that doesn't really make sense. It seems like it came in this way based on that it's at this bottleneck. It seems like it came in this way, not this way. Especially like it would be more Appalachian material over here in general. Like it would be something I would have probably heard of before. This is the first time I've heard someone just be like, there's Appalachian grains here in Arizona. Like what the kind of distance away? So I would say maybe right here there's a current that went down this way and up this way. I really think it's going up this way. It's just, I think this is also sending a current through this way. Like a cross current that, I just saw a picture of a riptide today. Pulling water through an inlet along a barrier beach at a lagoon. Rip current. A rip current is a strong, narrow jet of water that moves away from the beach and into the ocean as a result of local wave motion. This is a rip current. This is what I'm talking about. There are instances where, like, even though the current's coming in this way, the overall situation leads to another current going back through it opposite. So I think this was essentially inducing currents that were going counter, even though it's not the same exact mechanism, having the same effect of there being actual conduits forming instead of it just being like the waves hitting the beach and the waves retreating, just kind of so subtly doing this riptide thing, rip current thing, that it's just like one overall interaction that doesn't really show this manifestation. But when the circumstances are potent enough, like the energy is probably being focused there enough that it's being just caused to exit there and have a back current that actually forms a stable structure where flows coming in are not really able to get into that region. So there's actually like a differentiation. It's not just like this, it actually becomes like flow in, flow out. Which reminds me of my Skull Rock videos I did not that long ago. Anyway, I do believe that there's a current leaving this way, but there is generally a current going up this way that goes in here, like this shape, filling this region with the like ripply ocean bed, probably because it was very contained because of the container of it all. It's like an ocean in a small container that just had a lot of heat involved, so it was like moving a lot, probably trying to push this boundary out so it could just like vent. And then maybe it went up this way too. Drained out through here. Drained out somehow. Putting maybe through these regions in here just to like hold a boundary. Came in here, filled this with like really turbulent water, and then water kind of just pushed a boundary in these little arcs. Maybe even like fingers. That just caused this current as it's stabilized. Like this isn't like it's not flowing over here, down here, over here, and then up here. Like it's doing all these things simultaneously so that it stabilizes to have this boundary here where it goes over and runs into resistance and goes down, and then runs into resistance, goes over, and then runs into resistance, goes up this way, and brings materials. So we have an actual explanation, I would say, for how the Appalachian materials got there. So that's really good sign. I was excited when I heard him say that. I was like, did he just confirm what I was just talking about? Now, if this is an ammonite structure here, spiraling, forming, and there's a current over here, maybe this is like its matrix. Because essentially I was watching this one. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. So the Colorado Plateau is pretty much where this ammonite structure is. Let's see. Colorado Plateau. Images. Yeah, it's pretty much the ammonite. Okay, the Colorado Plateau is the ammonite. It's funny, I don't know these things. Like what this is called. Like this ammonite structure here. You mean the Colorado Plateau? This fucking... Yes, I mean the Colorado Plateau, okay? I see that now, thanks. But the portion, they're mostly talking about it with the portion in Arizona. But I guess they're really referring to the whole of it. Okay, so the Colorado Plateau, though, has a transition zone that he says is primarily, or well, I think he says entirely in Arizona, but it looks like it goes into New Mexico a little bit, but essentially entirely in Arizona. So there's this Colorado Plateau, which is the Ammonite, this small transition zone, and then basin and range, which is kind of where this water flow is going and filling. And also, one of the speakers brought up the concept that the Sierra Nevada, this region here, behaved at the time when this was when Arizona, I think it was in this one, what Steve Reynolds, I believe, said. Pardon me if it was this. It was one of these two. Said that this was behaving much more like this. So it essentially had a gap, like a gap like this, that the current flowed into and filled it with this material, where it was just not as much land, it was more just low laying, so it was not uplifted, but filled with some material that then caused it to be high enough elevation, I guess. Relatively speaking, some uplift. I mean, there's volcanism here. I mean, there's certainly uplift, but relative to the Laramide. So there's this transition zone, which is here. This is the transition zone. Is this region where the Ammonite is putting a current through where it's escaping. Like, if it's going around this loop, it's coming through this way and escaping more so down here than like over around this way. Although maybe it also goes that way. Like right through there to a degree. I don't know. Where are we looking? Wayne County? That sounds familiar. Trying to think if that's where Moab is. There's Bryce Canyon. If you don't know Bryce Canyon, you should check out Bryce Canyon. It's pretty epic. Pretty epic. So this was going on. Oh my god. Current flows just swirling. I don't know why it would do this, but wow. To realize it's like maybe they're like little ammonites in some way. I wonder if there's some kind of ammonite relationship. I'm just thinking, it wasn't because I saw it that I said that. It was more so because it's directly off the side of the ammonite. Although maybe if we're really extending the boundary, like I talk about sometimes under Australia, this ammonite that goes around here and has a siphuncle here that swirls in and to a nucleus here, but like this is also part of it. There's this side thing, so like this is pretty similar where this exit portion is over here. Maybe this is even good representation of what's going on to a degree, with like things going down this way. Maybe that's why this is angled this way. So there's an ammonite structure here, though. Not the same ammonite, but the same mechanism, and also in a good angle to represent somewhat what's going on. But over here is maybe kind of reflective of Bryce Canyon area. Bighorn Mountain, Yellowstone, Laramide orogeny, Ammonite Center spiraling down to here. I think that's the one. That's 110.6, 41.4. Why did it do that? It used what? I think 41.4 minus 110.6 maybe. I feel like that's the same place. Nope, okay. Okay, weird. What is that? Like right there. Here's Yellowstone, here's Bighorn. Where this comes in is Yellowstone right there. Where that and this meet. Like a positive, negative. Down here though, that's very odd. It reminds me of Hawaii sphere. The sphere of Hawaii. Passing through. Could it? That'd be hilarious. If the sphere of Hawaii went right through here. Let me take a moment just to look at this. Like if it came in this way, hit this, and then the current went left, but the mass went right, and came in across here somehow, ran into the just resistance of the Rencha. Could it have possibly bent this way? There's no signs of it going through here necessarily. It would be crazy if there's a trail though. Mostly though visible there, so let's say maybe coming in along here. Through here, hitting resistance of Bighorn Mountain. And Yellowstone maybe, although probably just Bighorn Mountain. Bending. Going up to here. Looks like the bend goes pretty far, so like maybe over through here. Part of me, I know people who doubt that Hawaii was a sphere who don't even want me looking at this. I'm just curious. I'm not like genuinely thinking that there's a pattern, a path through here like that I'm seeing. Maybe there is, but I'm not saying this is it. I'm just seeing if there is some kind of oddities that are a little too anomalous. Maybe it like hits stuff and goes down under and doesn't like rolls along here, but then ramps down and continues in a subtle way until it reemerges over here. and then comes through this region, hugging this wall, and just etching this like weird structure. Through here. Through here. Through here. Up through here. I mean, it's literally going right over there, then going around to here, where it then comes out and then spews down as Hawaii. I mean, some of the trail's pretty distinct. Let's check out this. Like, is that possible? It comes in this, or essentially, if you don't know what I'm talking about with Hawaii, it's important to at least be aware that I've been suggesting that over here, this ammonite structure is basically like a radioactive decay fractal, and it produces an actual emission of a sphere from underneath this portion of the crust, and it comes out and then enters the currents, where it then comes over here, goes over here, where it finally just gets held in place right here. This sphere, like, it's literally a huge sphere, not just like boulders. Basically like these. Mind you, like these also, in that it's hollow. And then it does like this and spews out across the ocean floor, where the water has a level below the peak, so that then Hawaii sits there with an island chain, kind of like this, but where it's much more spread out and huge and not noticed. But it sits here with a current flowing atop it over here, though, coming in this way and coming in this way, swirling, as well as this current involved coming up this way. So basically, then it's kind of like a quasar. It comes out, and then it has like a jet. Like a quasar is basically like a freshly emitted new system from some like mother system that gives birth to an offspring, like it's like itself, where it's sitting here as a sphere with these currents focusing it, and it's literally emitting a jet down into the earth, and maybe up as well, but down into the earth, that punctures the mantle, punctures through the crust all the way through the mantle, and then the mantle itself emits current up, which then pushes, because essentially there were just these currents, but then this opens, so it pushes it up, and this sphere then maybe turns sideways, where it starts to, or maybe it I'm not sure. I was thinking like maybe these jets happen as the sphere punctures this and it like turns it. Like once it punctures, then it turns the sphere and then it shoots a beam across the surface of the Earth rather than up and down into the Earth, where it's not quite as like fracturing of the crust itself until it like focuses the energy more into the Earth, which then goes this way. And then it also simultaneously has like a rocket that it shoots away through it. Coming this way, through this region, along the Baja California path, that this stuff is going through Baja California. Maybe I still have this. Basically, if here's that beam, right there. Here's the dissection of the Yucatan Peninsula from Costa Rica, Honduras. Also, here's this thing with the circles, which is right like where the eye of the world is opening along this path. I don't know if I pointed that out before. But so this beam is coming up this way, and it's bringing Hawaii, but boom, it smacks into this thing right here and rolls this way. To here. Maybe, I mean, is that possible? That's how that formed? I wonder how old this is. I don't know what this is called. Let's see. Seamounts, Western Pacific. Maybe just Emperor World. Okay, we gotta be able to find it here. Let's see it though. What is that? No one cares about seamounts. Like, why would I care about seamounts? That's how I felt about seamounts. I was like, woof. And okay, there's mounds in the ocean. Now I'm like, give me info on these mounds in the ocean. What are they? It's gotta have a name. Let's just say Emperor. Seamounts near Emperor. Seamounts. What is it? Maybe is it a seamount or an ocean? It's probably considered a oceanic plateau. Pacific. That's probably my issue. There we go. Hess Rise. Oh, Hess Rise. I don't know names. I don't know names good. What do you want from me? I'm like a musician. I don't know. Oh my god, that's perfect. Oh, Holy shit, I thought it was like, oh my god. Where'd it go? I don't know. Hess Rise apparently formed along the western flank of the Pacific Farallon Ridge. Major structural trends include northwest trending arms or ridges, and an east-northeast trending southern Hess rise that parallels the Mendocino fracture zone. I mean, that's literally the perfect. Oh my god. It's like I just put the pieces together. So it rolls up this way, through, it literally rolls through here, hits here, rolls over here. Wait, let's see. Just wondering, okay. Rolls over here, and then at that point, it's on the North American plate. Like it was on the Pacific plate, but the portions that broke apart were like this rather than this. Like some of it was like this, but then there was a portion like underneath that was like this. So it was like more like this. So the you can't really see my. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying. Hopefully that made sense. Where there's a overlayer crust that's hanging over top, but then like it abuts my face, my nose, and my nose, Hawaii rolls onto my nose and is no longer on this plate, but it's on this plate, and then this plate, and I mean, it's a good term. I don't want to hate on the term because of the interpretation of things. Slides away without Hawaii on it anymore. So it's not on it after that. And it rolls away. And maybe even contributes to that. Going over here, and then through here, and wrapping around this way. Maybe even getting shoved in over here and just kind of swirling and then moving along. I feel like also going through here. But that path looked like it followed a specific path that then just carried it across this way. Although, again, I really feel like that's it there. Like, this doesn't fit into the current patterns or this, really. Although, maybe along the boundary of this big circle, like, it makes me think of the little spikes on the sides of ammonites. Ammonite spikes. Like, yeah, like that kind of thing. So maybe it's not Hawaii. I've been thinking if Hawaii's moving around over here, it probably made it over here. But maybe that's actually this ammonite. Maybe Hawaii just came through, went through here generally, and then exited here. Or came across. Let's go back to this. Cross through here. I mean, maybe it does go over there. Cross through here. But then it kind of seems like it just... Maybe actually here. Although possibly it goes over there. How far do we need it to go to there? It needs to go to this corner thing. Where was that? Is that here? And then come out this way, across here to here, where it then rolls down. To here. It's kind of interesting. Right here, from this point, it seems pretty centered on that. This arc. Like if it can roll down here and then hit the plate and then just like gushed energy that way. Maybe not like the material itself, but just pushed a wave over here where it like hit the hard surface of the cooling plate surface that was exposed, and so it released energy like at an angle specifically relative to these angles. That's like seems appropriate angled. Like this arc could be over here facing like there, or like over here facing there, but there's an arc right there. It doesn't really show any particular signs of like energy through this, but maybe that just held and it went through here. It does look possible. Okay, so I've been thinking that this cross current pulled this with it off of Hawaii as it was rolling this way, but that's not correct. It actually hit the Sierra Nevada batholith, rolled this way first. This feature is definitely relevant, as well as this. Rolled this way towards Bighorn Mountain, which was maybe relatively here, where it then bends around Yellowstone region. This is around Yellowstone. It bends around where Yellowstone is. Hits here, rolls around to here, or rolls around to about here, and then bends around. I wonder if this is like the exact trail it took. This way. And as it rolled, it just literally split the plate below it at this point. Like really fractured it and then caused ripples into here. Through there maybe? So maybe what's actually happening is a current's going. Maybe this one's maximum boundary is generally around here, and it goes through here, but then it runs into resistance and brings this material this way. So that it's really not. I mean, that makes sense to me, honestly, that this mound here is sourcing this material. Like, it's kind of odd that there's a mound over here from a current going this way that gets more pronounced over here. I thought, like, if Hawaii is involved, because I thought it was stripping material from Hawaii and just bringing it over here as it rolled. But it's actually created this mound, and then the material was brought along, maybe. So this is Shatsky Rise. So let's see when Shatsky Rise. Okay, that's not fitting. That's not terribly. That's not bad. If it's around the same as the other one, it does have dates that are younger or older than the other one, suggesting it formed prior. That's really what I'm looking for, is how well it aligns with other things. It does seem like it formed prior. Not significantly prior, so certainly related. But it, like, if Hawaii just came up, smacks Sierra Nevada, this batholith comes up through here, smacks this here. Like right here. And then rolls this way and deposits material. In around 110 million years radiometric dating, I don't know why it would then have younger depositions like over here. Or older. Older. Where? So many tabs. If this arc here is around here, then there's another arc, this one. It looks like we can even see it going up through right there. Right there. And then bending back. Right, or just coming back. Around here. Maybe going across here. This path. Maybe through Pyramid Lake. That's where some interesting things are that are in my spheres video. This way, and then bending back around Mount Shasta. Maybe Mount Shasta. Maybe Mount Shasta is like right at the peak of this, up to right there, Mount Shasta, and then down. Let's find it. Like if it's right here. That's real close. It's right. It's like right in here. It's like in this little snakehead thing that's got Mount Shasta and inside of it, just like everything else, kind of shaped like this, with like the Idaho batholith inside of the snakehead here, coming from down this way, and then another snakehead coming down this way. So there's a bunch of them just interacting with like things, either things or anti-things, like voids relative to the density, spaces, or mountains above the void, because there's a void below, seemingly, in this right here. But so current comes up this way, bends around this point, and swirls in. Like it bends earlier, but it runs into the batholith, swirls, and like maybe behaves as a gear to kind of get this current over the top of this batholith, because it's just not quite reaching there. So as it goes, it like drains back, maybe hits the batholith, and like different efforts, it goes down here, like it ramps. It's going like across into it and just building up until it can actually ramp atop the batholith here. And as it does that, it creates Mount Shasta at the very peak there, and that's the last node for it to get over. But beforehand, it's like seemingly just trying to get over this batholith to go around and exit, but then it runs into a current that's coming like head on, so just like goes down. It was protected to go up, and then it's getting hit to go down. Over here, as it goes up, off of this, it goes up, and then it passes the batholith, and then goes down this way, down here. Hawaii's definitely... I wonder if Hawaii rolled up this way under the crust, fracturing the Pacific plate from the North American plate. And it slid out, but then Hawaii rolled back down along the outer boundary of the batholith to cut like higher level. It literally just cut through the layers, rolled through, cut the actual crust overlayer rather than the underlayer, and allowed for the whole of the eastern Pacific to open, where it was just kind of creating some space, enough space for some, like maybe this space. But rolled up this way, fracturing the Pacific itself. While it was over here though. Rolled over here, up this way. I wonder if we can find that shape. Maybe from here. Maybe it went over here to here. Where it did something really important, and then it bent this way. Wonder... This is... I'm just going to put my fingers over it and not change scale. Not the same. From here to here to... From here to here, not the same. Although... I'm not sure that's even the same as this. Let's say from here to here. 451 miles, 727 kilometers. So that's that. If this is it, maybe it goes this way to here. Because it's basically turned at a 30-degree angle relative to here. Like whenever I put the mid-Pacific Mountains here, I have to tilt it at 30 degrees pretty much, and then voila, there it is. So it's pretty much it. So the 30 degrees tilt occurred in its rotation. So this is tilted up. Let's see, I might be tilting the other way then. Just check. So it should be tilting even more across this way. So maybe it's something more like here over this way. It's hard to say. It's too big of an area. Like, I would almost need to focus on this area and try to overlay from here instead of from here. It's too much distance. It starts to deviate. If I reapply this here, I could probably just do it real quick. I got Photoshop open. Let's go. Let's just go. Let's see. Mostly focus here, I guess. Mostly here. Photoshop. Let's go ahead and just do that. And then don't change the size. We want this to be generally focused on the center. See what happens. Okay. So if I can maybe turn this one's opacity down. Almost need to draw. Just draw right here. From this batholith, let's say there, over this way to that dot as like a base point. Okay, then try to do the same. I mean, it's pretty much a 30-degree angle. But then, if we do that, if we just continue by drawing, say, let's say orange, this one off of it, and then maybe something of this nature, just and then let's shift this. I was just wondering if it was like exactly a bighorn. Has some benefits that it relates to there, but and maybe I just didn't draw the blue one that well. But I feel like this. It's like there. Okay, let's see. What do we got? I'm not sure what to make of that then. Unless it was like pivoting. Like it hit here, and then that played a critical role in the Earth expansion, so that by the time it was over here, I don't know, like the angle changed, but that, like, I don't know, it would have not resembled this, I don't think. Maybe let's try it like there. If you guys see this. This kind of would make sense. Although this doesn't especially make sense. And this starts right here along that path. Which is really interesting. Because didn't we just place this right next to Mount Shasta? There's Mount Shasta. But this goes to this end. Mount Shasta, what is here then? If Mount Shasta was like there, measure distance there, 280. Yosemite, maybe. Nothing that's diamond-like. Why is there a diamond? It's like the Pacific Plate moved up an energy rung, like it was here. This was here. Now the next level down is there, in a way. Like it moved up a rung where it slid up and then out. Like this went up around the batholith. Like up, out. So maybe, or maybe out, up. It seems up, out, based on that it has a trail the whole way. And just up. That kind of makes sense too. That is pushing here. Maybe it even got space. Oh my god, it did. Because of this. Like right here to here? How far is that? That's far. Let's say here to here. 1200, let's say here. 1100 something. To here. Or to here. It looks like the dragon itself was held in position, and then the current passing it caused like an extensional region that moved this region open, so that this was forming closer, but then it opened away. That just looks like a dimple. I should look into the geology of this place. When things happen there. Okay, I'll be back. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.